I'll tell you what my druthers would be, and I think the city has a chance at this. I love traveling all around the world and seeing other cultures. And I think that as we become more of a global society, it's not that New Orleans is competing with Birmingham or Houston or any of these other cities in the U.S. We're competing with Sao Paulo. We're competing with Bogota. We're competing with Bangalore, India. So cities are now competing with other cities for talent and investment. And so what I see for New Orleans is a more elevated profile as not only America's most culturally unique city, but I think one of the most distinct cities in the world. And I think because of our movie production and film, our food export, because of the opportunity that it is also a problem called our coastal restoration issue and the green push that is taking place in the city, I see in another 7 to 10 years the city's international profile growing and becoming that much more diverse, where not only do you have people coming from Michigan and New York and San Francisco to test the cultural economy and sort of make their mark. I sort of see people coming again from South America and Central America who see New Orleans as a natural access and on-ramp to get into America and push their technology, push their innovation, push the creativity that the world is channeling in certain types of efforts. So that's my hope, and I do think that there's a significant opportunity for that to happen. As you see things like Cuba opening up in the near future, New Orleans can be an access point to international investment and creativity, and I think that will again take us to another level. I think that we have a festival for just about everything, and these festivals are during the week sometimes, they're on the weekend. It is just always something to do, and as I said, I left the office yesterday, and in a lot of other cities, you will leave and you might go to your neighborhood watering hole and catch a drink. I walked outside and there was a blues and barbecue festival that was going on, and I'm home today, and near my house there's a seafood festival that is going on, and on Wednesdays right outside my office there's a free Wednesday festival. So I think you can appreciate working hard, because New Orleans is also a place where you play hard, and I think that you certainly can do that in other cities, but that's the only way we know how to do it. As a city, we shut down for 3 days to give a free party. So it isn't a surprise that, every day there is the reward of being able to play hard, whether it's going to hear live music up, on Oak Street, or, on Frenchman, or downtown now. There are places that are doing that. So I think that's a real, dividend that we have, and sort of a notch over some of the other cities that have everything, do not have the most unique thing that we have and makes us the special city we are. I think there is a fraternal aspect of living and working downtown, especially when you are a small firm like ours. We thrive off of, the energy of just running into people on your way to lunch, or in the office building, or as you're exiting, or going to the parking lot. And so for us, certainly there is some flexibility where other places may have made sense, but I think the energy from downtown is something that a small firm sort of thrives upon. You're in the know, you're in the mix. You have a shingle, you're running with the day-to-day pace. So, coming downtown, I think, and working there, being committed to being downtown, having a downtown address, is beneficial from the energy standpoint, but I think there's a practical aspect to it, right? It's very tightly knit downtown, so whether it's logistically getting to meetings, parking once for the day and walking up the street, whether it's to go to a meeting in another office building, or to meet someone for lunch, or to have a quick, sidebar with someone over coffee or having to go to City Hall. All of that is right there. And so I think logistically and from a practical sense, it just makes sense. I heard somebody say this recently that what has happened to the city is sort of like falling in love. It doesn't intend to happen, it happens upon you. And to some extent, I think it happened upon the city of New Orleans. I think that, again, Katrina was a seminal moment in our history and really provided a blank slate that people really seized upon and decided to take actions into their own hands. I really think that the people of New Orleans are so authentic. I think that the city itself is culturally distinct. It's the most culturally distinct city in America. And I think when you bring those two things together and you sort of take the lid off of expectations, great things can happen. And so I think that to some extent, New Orleans is realizing its potential. Of course, we were a great city at the birth of this country. And so I think there is an expectation that with the authentic people that we have and the cultural distinctness of our city, that it was only inevitable that we would sort of be on the ascendancy again. I think we have a long way to go, but clearly I think the trajectory is that we're moving towards something that is better than where we were. And I think that it sort of just manifested itself. I think there are a couple of different things. The number one thing I believe is that there is now this notion that New Orleans is a cool city to be in. And I think that has provided a return of lots of new, young, energetic, smart, talented people moving to the city who have never lived here before, and people who grew up in New Orleans, never thought they'd move back, and decided to. I myself moved back to New Orleans in 03, 04, and I find a lot of peers from high school and people contemporaries of mine are doing the same thing. So I think number one, you have new talented people. I think two, you have a stable leadership from City Hall and the mayor. A lot of folks have confidence in him. I'm sure there are disagreements on particular issues that people may have, but I think overall, folks think that he is consistent and provided a stable view of what the city is trying to achieve. The third thing I think is that new money is finding its way into the city, and I think that is a result of the profile that Katrina, for good or bad, provided to us. And so folks see a lot of opportunity, whether it's reforming schools, whether it's the greening of cities, whether it is new investment in infrastructure, healthcare development. There's a range of different opportunities that lend itself to new money and new investment. So I think those three things have really provided this renaissance in this new century that I think will pay dividends for a long time in the future.